Turnip Boy Robs a Bank is the sequel game that Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion, which originally came out in April of 2021. And this time, Turnip Boy is back, and this time, instead of committing tax evasion, he's robbing a bank. And this game caught my eye immediately as someone who did play the original Turnip Boy, and it was a good time, cute graphics, good combat, not super long story, but Turnip Boy Robs a Bank looked more like a roguelike game compared to the original, where it had a quick little story with some combat here and there. So here's everything you need to know before you buy Turnip Boy Robs a Bank. The game is more so like Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion, but it's a lot shorter. This game, you also have a new mechanic being able to dodge, which is basically just falling down and dodging enemies. The core gameplay really reminded me of Enter the Gungeon when I first started playing it, as the game starts off with you robbing a bank. You go through the first same area every single time, and the core bank is the same on the map. It's split up into 4 different sections, and you need to defeat each boss to gain access to the next section. But part of the roguelite element to it is inside of the runs, there's elevators, and each elevator has a different floor that you can go to. Some floors are just office buildings where you just kill a bunch of enemies, get some money, break into a safe, something like that. And then some floors just have an NPC that has you do a task for them, whether it be a long task or a short task. A short task in this game would be just collecting an item and then going back to them, where a long task would be like kill 600 enemies of one type or destroy 1,000 pieces of furniture. The game has a lot of side quests that you can do. That's something I really enjoyed with the game, as it added a lot of longevity to it, as the game itself is pretty short. If you don't focus on any of the side quests and just focus on killing the bosses as fast as possible, you could probably beat this game in about 3 to 4 hours, maybe 5 hours. Probably maybe even 2 hours at that point, but I have beat the game in 6.9 hours, and I got all the achievements except 2 where I need to get 1 more hat. And I'm not really sure where to go for that, so I might need to look up a guide. But I did all the tasks, I bought everything, and it took me about 7 hours, and it was well worth it. And runs do feel like Enter the Gungeon, but they have their own uniqueness to it, where a run can only take about 3 to 5 minutes before you go back to your hideout. And you can extend the amount of time with, meta progression upgrades, I guess we'll call them, because that's what they are. But inside of a run, enemies drop health, weapons every once in a while, and money, of course, which is the main factor in the game, as you progress the game. Inside of runs are super simple, and they are like Gungeon, but I would say it's a lot easier than Enter the Gungeon with how forgiving it can be. There's only 2 difficulties with normal and hard, and I played on hard mode and didn't really have any struggles, minus 2 bosses, with one of them being just, you'll find out which boss it is, and then the final boss. And I'll say the final boss is kind of annoying, where you have to fight all the main bosses again for the final boss, and then just do a whole other thing. But if you die during that, you have to restart and fight all the bosses again. Outside of a run, you have just the hub base, and there's only about 3 things you can do. You can choose which weapon you want to start with, which will have unlimited ammo, which is nice. You can scrap weapons that you picked up from inside of a run and brought back to your base, and scrapping them will allow you to get more weapons that you can pick. There's like 9 or 10 weapons total that you can start with, maybe 12 weapons total that you can start with, and they get better as you progress the game. And once you get the final weapon, it is very good. There's also a meta progression where you spend money that you earned in a run to make bullets do more damage and melee weapons do more damage. You can hold more money. That's probably the most important upgrade. You have a faster trigger finger, so, faster shooting. It's just all your simple meta progression. More time inside the bank. You can become a Canadian with it, which I love. And then you have the black market, which is kind of just a mandatory thing where you have to buy stuff to help progress the story. And those usually cost a little bit more, but there's a few little fun gimmick items in there that are for side quests. So that's really all there is outside of a run. Meta progression, weapons, and the dark web. It's a really simple game, and I don't really have anything super negative to say. The game didn't overstay its welcome, as I beat it in 7 hours on hard mode. The side quests are great, but the biggest negative for me is just the final boss and having to redo all those boss fights. Now, I'm sure on normal mode it's not too bad, but that's really the only negative thing I have. And the best weapon can be a little annoying if you fire it continuously. It's a quick 7-hour game, and if you played Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion, this is a very good game. I don't know if it's better than Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion. I played that game about 2 years ago, but this game, it's good. It doesn't advertise itself as a roguelite, and I don't really view it much as one, because once you beat the game, there's not really much reason to play it again compared to like Hades. If you beat Hades, you can just keep going on and on with difficulty enhancers. It's more so a single-player game, a quick, cute, indie single-player game that has some small roguelite elements, and also it has a lot of great inside little jokes and little quips in there. And honestly, I think you should try it out. It's about 20 Canadian dollars, so I'd take a guess and say about 15 US dollars. But if you like Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion or want a cute little action adventure game, give it a shot. Thanks for watching this quick little video, and yeah, I'll see you next time.